Hey there, brothers and sisters. Vessel of Truth here, Jay from Virginia for the new people. And I want to do a video for you, not too long, just wanting to answer back to a lot of the emails that I'm getting that's covering, basically the same questions of, current events, that's going on today with, the trucker convoys, the things going on with Russia, and, kind of look at them through a biblical lens. Um, you know, Basically prophecy is happening right before our eyes. Um, People are 100% desensitized to the things that are really going on. They don't see the truth of the matter. Um, you have this big, huge trucker strike going on in Canada that there's no food or product being moved. I believe honestly that's an inside job because in the Illuminati card game, there are cards, depicting this event happening. Um, Not to mention, just on the premises of looking at the Illuminati card game, there are so many of the cards that depict events that actually have happened already. You know, 9/11, the Pentagon, the just on and on. Probably mentioning that it's going to get this video pulled. I don't know. But I mean, all this plays into biblical prophecy. But it also plays into the elite's handbook. These things have been planned for who knows how long, and they're now coming to fruition. And this strike that's going on is going to allow the elites to have a reason to blame shortages. Well, you all did all this striking, and there's no food and all that going anywhere. So that's why there's shortages, and that's why people are starving and blah blah blah. Um, of course, they're not going to mention that they have been just delaying the cargo ships on the coasts of the United States for. I heard a report where it said some had actually been there almost a year waiting to be unloaded. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it don't even sound possible, but yet it's going on. And that's just to dwindle our supplies down and weaken us. But yet, at the same time, you know, and I've heard other people say, there has been no shortage of the pagan candy making it to the store shelves for their pagan holidays because, those are high demonic days. That's when they're doing rituals. They've got to have people participating in their paganism, for their spells to, have a certain amount of strength, their blood magic and their rituals, and people take part in it, unknowingly all the time. That's what I'm saying. We as the children of Yahuwah should never celebrate man-made holidays. Never. We have the feast of Yahuwah and the Sabbath. It's plenty. The beast feasts just go to our own destruction and peril. Um, so, do I support the truck strike? I support the principle, but the thing of it is, the truth is, we have allowed the elites to have so much power that there's no taking a stand anymore. Everything that we do, they're already, 20 steps ahead of us. And, I don't think there's even a chance of an actual true good politician existing anymore because when a politician gets to a certain point, they're bought off. It's all about the money. It's all about the backdoor deals. And, you know, I'm sorry to say that, I can't think of a one that's not corrupt in some way, somehow. And, none of them stand on biblical principles. And I'm sorry, but in this world, that's what it's going to take. And they're not going to allow someone that stands on biblical principles to get any amount of power. You figure they own, the police stations. They're fully Brothermen's now. The four-wall indoctrination centers called church are infiltrated. They own the judges. For us, the children of Yahuwah, we are behind the eight ball, to say. But it doesn't matter, we still win. 'Tis a process. Now, to the main question that people are hammering me on, tell us what you think. What are you seeing? And all that with, Russia. First and foremost, there is no fear in anything that I say. To me, it's a little bit of excitement. These are things, that I've been reading about and thinking about for years. And now I'm actually alive seeing these things come to pass. I mean, it's like, wow. And I'm not afraid because, I am a child of Yahuwah. For me to die is gain. And, I don't want to leave my loved ones behind, but I know, the day is coming. We are all going to lay down our mortal coil. And I just pray that if I die, I go out glorifying the Father. So, the news is full of, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. Russia's going to invade Ukraine. They're amassing troops upon the border of Ukraine. Russia, Ukraine. Well, it's all fine and dandy. They go and they ask Putin himself in Moscow and, their military about invading Ukraine. And they're adamant, saying that they're not going to invade Ukraine. That they are just amassing troops for their safety and well-being. I really believe that when they're saying they're not going to invade Ukraine, I think they're telling the truth. Anybody that knows anything about being in the military, tactics are always to make your enemy think you're going to do something while you're actually planning for something totally different. And when you actually look at the big picture, Ukraine doesn't stand a chance against the military might of Russia. Yes, everybody's taking notice of, the armament movements of Russia because, they have moved more armament than, since World War II, in 80 years, there's never been a deployment such as this. Fact of the matter is, Ukraine isn't the thorn in Russia's side. The problem Russia has is NATO. And NATO is made up of 90% of the United States. We are the military might. We are the money. We are basically NATO. And when it comes to military tactics, I really believe that Russia will not invade Ukraine. I think they'll do as Scripture says. I'm in Ezekiel chapter 38. We'll start reading at verse 10. And it says, "Thus says the Lord God, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all in them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. To take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thy hand upon the people, to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land. Stop right there. I believe that these verses in Ezekiel chapter 38, we know for a fact it's talking about, Gog and Magog, Russia. And I believe, it is the evil thought that they're going to have is, instead of taking on Ukraine and making it to where, we can't put our missiles on their border like, they tried to do with the Cuban Missile Crisis. They're going to not even worry about Ukraine, and they're just going to hit NATO and the United States. I hate to say it. It's what I would do. They have the blessing of China. China is on Russia's side. And the United States have been the bully of the world for way too long. We ticked off all kinds of people. They hate us. We have been fighting wars to keep the American dollar the head currency for way too long. We killed, Muammar Gaddafi because he was going to go back to the gold standard. These are all truths. We blamed, Saddam Hussein with a bunch of lies and went over and killed 1 million or so of his people. Innocent people. So we would go over there and plunder the museums and steal all the tablets on the resurrection chamber, and then find the body of Gilgamesh and dig it up. Gilgamesh is Nimrod, by the way. He's known by 70 different names. And 2 of the names that he is known by happen to be Apollyon and Abaddon. Does that ring a bell? If not, go read Revelation chapter 9. So here we are with, this stuff going on with Russia. The United States and NATO are the one pushing it. Russia has done everything that they can do, to come to a diplomatic solution. And, we have rejected everything that they have offered. And, all they're asking is that, basically, we don't encroach on their border and put our missiles right at their border. Like Russia was going to do in the Cuban Missile Crisis. We about went to war then. Well, now we're doing it to them, and we're trying to make them like it. And, it's just not going to happen. Russia will not bow on this. And, Ukraine is not their problem. NATO and the United States is. And I really think we have a very good chance of seeing this play out. I think, that Putin is just doing all that he can do to draw the United States in, to putting more and more people over there through Europe and putting more hardware. We've got all of our Navy and our carrier groups and that there. The homeland of the United States is basically defenseless. Most of our soldiers are other places. Most of our hardware is other places. The only thing that, helps us is that we, the people, are armed. But I could see, allowing Putin allowing, the United States to ship more and more hardware and so on and that over into Europe, and then totally sidestep Ukraine and hit NATO and the United States head on. And I think after the first shot is fired, you're going to see all the other countries in this plane, in this realm that we live in, jump on board. Because, we, the United States, we're corrupt. We have been blessed from the blessings of true men of God for a long time. But those blessings are running out. And, one of the scriptures in the Word tells us, be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And I firmly believe that we are about to be spoon-fed what we have sowed. And we're going to start reaping the evil and corruption that we have sowed. The United States has to go bye-bye on the world stage. I'm not going to say that, it's going to be totally a burned out cinder and all this stuff, hey. But the United States will no longer be a world power. Biblical prophecy doesn't show the United States having any world power whatsoever in the end. The next world power will be China. They're the ones, that are walking that line of full-blown AI and dictatorship, total freedomless, and, just total communism. You either do what they say or, they make it to where you can't even live. But the event that I think we're about to see will be war. And I think it will go to a world war. And out of the chaos and the shambles that is left, you'll see a world leader rise to the top and take control and bring about a time of peace and prosperity for the nations and the peoples that are left. And this individual will in turn be the Antichrist. We know that, this world leader comes out of a tumultuous time that has just happened on the world, and then brings about peace and prosperity, and then everything gets real bad. But there will actually be a time of peace and prosperity first, according to biblical prophecy. It's just we are at the door where things go to hell in a handbasket. That's the part, where everybody's going to be looking for a rapture, and they're going to still be sitting here. And I think, a lot of these people that will be saying rapture, 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 and it doesn't happen, there's a good chance that they could fall away from the faith altogether. Because they're going to be like, everything I believe is a lie. And, it's all a bunch of hooey. And be drawn away. You figure the four-way indoctrination centers are not telling the truth. They're just telling people enough to make them think that they're following that narrow road when actually they're on the wide road to destruction. Because they're not doing anything. They're sitting there on a pew doing nothing. Oh, we got to bring people into our four-wall indoctrination center. No. You'll not find that in the word nowhere. You know, the Great Commission is very blunt. It tells us to go out into all the world. Not bring in. We go out to where they are. But no, we think we have to bring people in. Nope. See what I'm saying? I mean, the indoctrination is so thick. And I've actually said this before. Even praying before you eat a meal is wrong according to the Bible. That's how bad we have been indoctrinated. You know, they bring the food out and you pray before you take a bite. Did you know that the word actually says, eat and be filled first, and then thank and praise Yahuwah for his provision? I mean, just on something that simple. Not to mention even simpler. The true Sabbath day, the seventh day, has been changed to the first day of the week, the sun god day. But people go along with it because man changed it. Well, if you are a true believer, you know that the Father doesn't change. Therefore, the Sabbath never changed. I mean, these are just truths that stick out like sore thumbs that should be red flags waving. You know, warning, warning. But people turn a blind eye. And, you know, blind eyes have been turned so long. The damage has been done. You have a couple generations of people that they have no clue what the truth is when it comes to the Father. All they know is what they've been taught in these other indoctrination centers called schools. They've been told what to think, how to think. They've been taught to obey the system. You know, they've been taught to refrain from hard work and live off the government. Brothers and sisters, I mean, this is all biblical truth. The world in which we live in is going to change drastically. And the elite will get exactly what they want. They will get their depopulation. They will get their control. They will get everything that they want to a point. Just know, we win. You know, they really think that in the end they can defeat the Creator. And to me, that's a sick and demented, perverted thought. But, you know, hey, I guess people are really just that gullible. You're going to go up against all-knowing, all-seeing, creator of everything, and you think you're going to beat him because another created entity of the Creator tells you so. To me, that's a special kind of stupid. And I mean, I'm not meaning that mean neither. That, to me, that's crazy. Nuts. Schizo. I mean, who would believe that? Yet, they believe it. Be prayed up, my brothers and sisters. You know, because in all honesty, I could truly see Ezekiel chapter 38 coming to life. You know, let me defend that scripture a little bit. I read Ezekiel chapter 38. Started at verse 10. And I read verse 10, 11, and 12. Now, you'll notice that in verse 11 it talks about, you know, those people who are at rest, unwalled cities, no bars, no gates. You're going to have people that's going to say, that has to do with the Middle East and Jerusalem. If you've been to the Middle East and Jerusalem and Israel, you would notice, and you would know this, that there's bars and gates and locks everywhere. It is not an unwalled city, and they're not at rest. Nor is their breadbasket in the very midst of them. That describes the United States. You know, we are made up of the nations. We were the melting pot where everybody would come and settle for freedom. You know, have the dream of freedom. And, you know, the very midst of this country was our breadbasket. You know, where we would produce all of our, you know, farm goods. Yeah, times have changed. But, you know, I know prophecy cuts like a two-edged sword. You know, the word cuts like a two-edged sword. You know, can have dual meanings. And I truly believe that, you know, this going on with Russia will be what sets the stage for the catastrophe of war and plight that this world leader will rise up to power and bring out a time of peace and prosperity for a time. I know there's going to be people out there, you know, you're stupid, and, you know, call me names or whatever. Hey, if that's the way you see it, so be it. I'm not saying that this is the way it's going to be. I am simply doing what I've been asked to do. I do my best, you know, to give feedback to all my subs and people who email me. I consider them my family, my friends. And, you know, if, you know, hearing what I think or what I see in the lens of, you know, biblical prophecy on current events helps, hey, I'm all for it. Because, you know, even the word tells us that we win some by fear, but I don't want anyone to ever think that I make a video for fear. And I don't, because there is no fear in anything that I am saying. It, like I said, it's exciting to me. I never would have thought that I would be alive in the day and age that I'm alive in. I have lived to see, you know, an event take place that, you know, is in the book of Revelation. It has never happened before in the history of man. And that is, you know, the sorcery card. All nations being deceived by sorceries. And that word sorceries is pharmakia. And we know what's going on, what they're pushing, what they're trying to mandate and force upon everyone. That's a biblical event. I'm sorry, but it isn't the mark. um, I think when people actually see what the mark will be, because I think that the actual mark is going to go back to Jasara and Nasara, like I said in another video. It will actually be money, currency, uh, cashless currency, back to the Saint Germain Trust. And that's a great study. Go and study about Saint Germain and his trust, and you know, very interesting information there. Uh, and I think it is, information that's pertinent to know, especially with the way things are going right now. But don't be afraid. We win. Uh, and if things get to the point to where it's time for the Church of Philadelphia to be moved out of the way and protected, pray that you are in that number. All you have to do is walk in full obedience, doing all that you can do to show you love the Father. Because obedience is the only way that you can show that you love the Father. And He will protect us. He will give us that place of Goshen. I'm a firm believer that place is the Mount Sinai, where we will be at the marriage supper of the Lamb, while all hell on earth is going on at the earth. But, hash that out another time. Definitely be in prayer. Because, war is not a good thing for anybody. And it's going to go worldwide. Because whenever the first shot's fired, everybody's going to jump in to beat up the bully of the world. And see them become no more, basically. So be praying, because there are many, many, many people that do not know the Father. And I don't care who you are or what you've done. I don't want anybody to go to hell. I don't want them to be destroyed. I think, that the Father sums it up, that he says that he wished above all things that all people would come to repentance. And I think that should be our outlook. We have to stop humanizing sin, making this sin or that sin bigger or littler. All sin, no matter what it is, will send you to hell. A white lie sends you to hell. Murdering people will send you to hell. Aborting people send you to hell. Gay or lesbian lifestyle sends you to hell. Doesn't matter. Sin is sin. There is no big and there is no little. And we need to stop humanizing things, especially humanizing the Father, because He is not a man. He doesn't lie, nor does He change. So, I want to thank you all for being a part. I thank you for your prayers. You all are in my prayers. If you need to get a hold of me, because I'm not seeing your comments on my videos, email me at jtt1777@outlook.com, and I will get back to you. We can even exchange information to where we can text and call each other if you need. I do all that I can to get back to each and every one that contacts me in any way. But please know that if I've not answered your comments on my videos, it's because I'm not seeing them. YouTube is hiding them from me. From time to time, I'll see a comment that someone posted, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Just because, I don't know, their algorithm changes, or they just want to mess with me. I don't know. Um, it's like, even, you can't even go by how many subs it says that I have. Some people, it says 400, some 300, some 500, some 900, some 1,000. You know, every time I go into my account, I get a different number. you know, from the best I get, it's like close to 3,000 or so is what I've got. Um, or over. I don't know. Uh, but I don't care about the numbers. My thing is that the videos that I make with the information is what the Father wants out, and I just pray that He directs the videos to who He wants to see them. Uh, I'm just, there's nothing special about me. I'm just your fellow servant. I have a heart for my brothers and sisters, and I don't want to see anyone be destroyed. Nor do I want to see people believe the lies and, blindly accept, the tyranny that's coming. Um, but even at that, our abilities are limited because of the powers that be have now. Uh, so I just leave it at that. I love you all, and I look forward to your feedback. If you have any questions, put it in the comments or email it to me. As again, jtt1777 at outlook.com. And I'll do my best to get back to you, or I'll even make a video on that subject if it's something that's, I can go in depth with. And I think it would, be something really good for everyone to um, hear and, have a refresher course on, or just uh, to actually do a video on. So, as always, stay prayed up, seeking the face of the Father and not His hands. Armor up before you get out of bed every day, and do your best to keep sharing the gospel of the kingdom to as many people as possible. If we're not our brother's keeper, who will be? We are the watchmen on the wall. Think about it. We have to be about the will of the Father. We are the hands of the Father on the earth. We do His will. And, on Judgment Day, we will account for what we did and what we didn't do. So I ask you to see the truth and, to start being a part of this war that we are in, because it's real. The enemy is attacking in such force now that on a personal level, there are people that are struggling left and right. Just as the word tells us that the enemy will be doing his best to wear out the saints. And in all honesty, he is doing a great job. That's why, the Church of Philadelphia says, that they had little strength left because they are fighting the fight. So stay armored up, stay in prayer, and stay working the relationship between you and the Father. As always, I love you all. I look forward to your feedback. And until the next one, Yahuwah bless you and keep you always.